Welcome to the Dine Digital Dish. My name is Mark, and if you haven't seen us before, we're just doing our best to help the restaurant industry by giving them a chance to tell their story, restaurants throughout the United States, and we are about trying to help restaurants in any way we can as far as that goes as well. That's a little bit about us, but today it's not about us. It is about the Goodyear House, and we have two new friends. We got Sean and we have Chris, both from the Goodyear House. How are you guys doing today?
Great. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Awesome. I'm glad you guys could join us. We got the three shot today, which is a new ground as far as the dish broadcast. So that's cool. We're working it all out. And so you guys are out of Charlotte. So first and foremost, we need to hear a little bit about your story. So tell us.
Chris, I'll let you start off if you want.
Yeah, sure. So the Goodyear House is a brand new neighborhood concept in the NoDa neighborhood of Charlotte, which is kind of our funky arts scene. It's our Brooklyn, if you will, of Charlotte. And we're in a 120-year-old mill house, actually, that was built somewhere around 1902. NoDa itself was established as a mill, as a textile mill neighborhood. So we kind of wanted to pay some homage to that and to this idea of transformation and this idea of growth. So the restaurant itself is the old mill house, but then we actually added on a few rooms. And each room has a different feel and a different theme to it to represent the decades since the early 1900s. So the front dining room is like 1910s. The bathrooms all have a 1940s feel to them. We have a 1960s botanist greenhouse inspired room. And then the bar has a 1970s motif that's pretty cool. But it's just a fun, family-friendly neighborhood spot serving, kind of modern Southern.
You just said you opened in February.
Yeah, so I'll kind of pick up where he dropped off a little bit there. We focus on everything on modern American Southern neighborhood-friendly items. I think a term that Chris coined, way back when was simple food with complex flavors. We've got the YMCA right across the street from us. We want everybody from date night to the guy that just got done working out that wants a burger and a beer at our bar. We've got a beautiful inside bar, outside bar. The kind of 120-year-old resident holly tree provides shade over the entire back patio area, where we've got our drunken handyman bar outside, which is more of our blue-collar bar. We got PBR on tap for $2 a beer. But then our inside bar, it has garage doors that open up to the back area. So it's really cool and unique in the sense that there's not really anywhere in Charlotte where you can have an experience similar to the kind of experience you can have with us. Because everything the indoor and outdoor spaces all kind of blend together as one big space but there's obviously some are inside and some are outside, but using garage doors to effectively kind of transition the space makes it really unique.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
but they're a really cool place. So your personal story, tell us how you got started in the restaurant industry.
Yeah, I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was born in Southeast Asia, but moved over here as a kid. And I started off as a dishwasher at 12 years old, and I was illegally working, so getting paid under the table, and restaurants were kind of the way you did that. And grew up here. I only ever really worked in restaurants. The only non-restaurant job I think I've ever had was in a golf shop. I went to school for hospitality management. I'm one of those crazy people that decide to do this for the rest of my life. So I'm kind of a lifer, but yeah, now started off at as a dishwasher, and definitely am never scared to roll the sleeves up and get back in the dish pit again from time to time. We had to do that through our first month a few times, didn't we, Chris?
Yeah, Chris, are you still?
he's frozen.
He's got the 14K dial-up working over there. He was so enthralled by your stories.
Yeah, but no, yeah. So yes, I graduated college with my hospitality degree, and then I kind of moved around the country. I opened the BLT Steak in the Ritz in Charlotte, and worked high-end fine dining steakhouses for pretty much my entire career. Opened BLT here, ran the BLT in South Beach, worked for STK in South Beach, Atlanta, Vegas, New York City. Kind of ran the gamut with them, and then came back to Charlotte. My mom moved back here, and Chris and I met at the Marriott, where I was the F&B director. He was the executive chef of the hotel for their beta hotel project. And then at that point, I think we decided we want to do something together, and it took a little bit of time to figure it out. And we met AJ, our other partner, and the rest was kind of history. And we AJ had been kind of thinking of this concept of Goodyear House for a while, and our idea of wanting to do a neighborhood restaurant where it was, the type of place where everyone was welcome. I think Chris and I were both not necessarily done with doing fine dining, but we were good on doing fine dining for a little while. We want to do our own stuff, and AJ wanted to create a place where everybody in the neighborhood was welcome, and I think it all kind of meshed well together. And yeah, the rest was history, as they say. And now we have coronavirus.
Yeah, a little wrench in the process there, but all right. So told a little bit about the layout. So what can guests expect when they come to your place?
Yeah, when guests come in, we have many different experiences that you can have. The front of the restaurant is the original part of the house that was built in 1902, as Chris was saying earlier. We try to keep everything as original as humanly possible in there. It has that turn of the century kind of feel to it. Grandmother's living room, dining room, if you will. It's got some really cool wallpaper on the walls. All the B-boards are in there. We were able to keep the original fireplace from 1902, so all the ironwork and brickwork and mantle and all of that. We've got pictures up of the NoDa neighborhood from the early 1900s. We met the family that lived in the house from 1920 to 1965, so we've got a lot of their family photos kind of up on our mantle and stuff. So it's got very much of a traditional dining, date night, business dinner kind of feel to it. And then as you go into the bar, it's got, like Chris said, that 70s theme. We've got the front of the bars wrapped with the a 1972 Renegade vinyl seat cover. What is it, Chris?
You always say the wrong car. It's a GMC Highlander.
I'm happy that you can tune back in just to correct me.
Yes, finally.
Chris finally got his internet bill paid, and he's ready.
Yeah.
He just needed a little incentive.
Well, that stimulus check just cleared, so we're good now.
But yeah, so you go into the bar area. The inside bar is very different than the outside bar in the sense of it's much more of a craft cocktail bar. We spend a lot more time just coming up with the menu and the thought in there, whereas the outside bar is more of a blue collar bar, simple spirits, one of each spirit, one of each wine, 4 drafts. Whereas the inside bar, we have 16 beers on tap. Oh, there goes Chris. We have 16 beers on tap. We've got a couple wines on tap. And yeah, it's just got much more of an elaborate bar program inside than outside. But yeah, that bar area, we have 3 garage doors that open up to our back patio. There's a holly tree that kind of extends. So those little holly bushes. Well, ours is a tree that goes over the rooftop now because it hasn't been trimmed in 120 years. So it provides kind of shade for the entire area and almost like, I don't know, a fake roof, if you will. So the garage doors open up and it just kind of blends the bar, outdoor seating area, and then the botanist room, which is like our bohemian style room, has garage doors that open up to the area. So it all kind of feels like one big area.
Right.
Yeah, like our idea was to create a neighborhood space. Yeah, like right there. So on the right-hand side there, you've got the bohemians or the botanist room, and then the outdoor area, and then on the left-hand side, that's the bar. So it all kind of wraps around and then where the photo is being taken from is the outside bar area.
Very cool.
Um,
Yeah, it looks like a beautiful place.
Yeah, I mean it's got. We wanted it to feel like you were walking into someone's home that just happened to have 160 seats in it. Like so we've went with a company called Grand Custom Home Builders, who they focus on high-end custom homes as opposed to a commercial real estate company or a commercial real estate or not real estate commercial developer, because we wanted it to have those touches of homey feel in it and stuff like that.
Yeah, it looks great. That's awesome. So yeah, go to the goodyearhouse.com to see more of that. Very nice. Moving right along. So I think we pretty much typically we ask what makes you unique. You've kind of explained that your whole conversation. Is there anything else that you would touch on about the uniqueness of the Goodyear House and what you guys provide?
Yeah, Chris, I'll let you kind of speak to the food a little bit if you want.
Yeah, sorry, I was having some technical difficulties there. Moved
Okay.
inside a little closer to the router, so we should be good now. But I feel like what makes us unique from a food standpoint is, at least in Charlotte, there seems to be a lot of low end and a lot of high end, and not a lot of that kind of middle of the road dining where you're going to get a quality meal, but you're not going to have to shell out $100 a person. And I feel like that's kind of where we hit our mark. We're putting together really, really good food, really, really good drink. Our pricing is extremely competitive. I would say that we're putting out some of the best tasting food, best tasting drinks in Charlotte. But it's fun and it's relaxed and anyone can come. And we want people to be able to feel comfortable, whether they come dressed how we are today in t-shirts and flip-flops, or if they want to come out for a nice dinner and get a little dressed up and take their spouse or their significant other out. So I feel like we are just that kind of quintessential neighborhood spot, serving really, really good food at a decent price point. And that at least makes us unique to Charlotte.
All right. So speaking of food, what is that thing on the menu that your guests are going to have to try above everything else?
I think we all have our favorites. In the 6 weeks that we were open before the shutdown order came out, the Goopy Burger was definitely number one. And it's just our ode to a Big Mac. And we honestly said, we all have this guilty pleasure of kind of a greasy fast food burger. But what if you could get a Big Mac that was made with, ethically treated, beef and like all sustainable ingredients. Everything's made from scratch in house. So what if you could get the best possible version of a Big Mac out there? And people responded really well. In the 6 weeks that we were open, we sold, close to 1,400 of these things. And the beef is from Shipley Farms up in Boone. They are a farm that's been in operation since the 1870s. The bread is from Duke's Bread, which is here in Charlotte. It's we get their brioche rolls and then we dip them and roll them in benny seeds. There's our goopy lettuce, which is a shredded iceberg lettuce that's been kind of tossed like a slaw almost in what we call a goopy sauce, which is our ode to a Big Mac sauce. There's house-made pickles, some shaved red onion, and some white cheddar on there, and it's a delicious burger. I mean, it's really, really good,
and all for under 500 calories.
Exactly. Yeah.
No,
There's some secret menu items around that one too. So there's what's pictured there from our Instagram account is our Goopy Double, which is 2 patties, double cheese. We also have you can add Benton's bacon to any sandwich. So you can do a single patty, single with bacon. The Quad C is our super secret menu item. That is 2 patties, double cheese, double bacon. And it's a monster of a burger. It will feed a family of 4. But we've sold a couple of those, and every one that we sell, we take the ticket out to the guest. They sign the ticket that we get in the kitchen, and we put it up on the wall. So that's just our fun little.
You got a few of them up there.
Yeah, we've got a few up on the wall.
That's
So.
cool. So that's going to be our show off your dish portion as well, because the Goodyear House has temporarily closed the doors while we're navigating COVID-19 and shutdowns. So feast your eyes on this as the dish showcase for today. And obviously we'll throw up the Instagram here in a little bit. Again, be sure to check out all the social media profiles for the Goodyear House and the website to find out more about their menu as well. So moving right along, we'll get rid of that for now. We're going to talk about advice for the guests that are coming from out of town, hitting the Charlotte scene. What else can they experience besides the Goodyear House on normal circumstances?
Tom, you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. Like if your guest is coming in, you're staying from out of town in like the uptown area, which is pretty relatively close to us. There's a lot of things to do down there. There's a lot of great concerts to see. Obviously, not right now, but in a normal circumstance, I would say come during a football season, come see a Panther game. We're not too far from there. We're about, you can take the light rail over to NoDa and hop off, and we're 2 blocks away. But if I were giving advice to a guest coming to Charlotte from out of town, I'd say come see a Panther game. Come see our new running back signed on for 5 years.
Yeah, and if you're not there, come to DC and see my team, where all the ex-Panthers and coaches.
You got the new Panthers. So
Panthers light.
Yeah,
less successful.
The interesting thing about Charlotte is that it's such a sprawling city, and there's something for everyone. I was born and raised here, and I'm super proud of kind of how far the city's come. But if you're an outdoor person, there's the Whitewater Center where Olympic athletes train for whitewater, kayaking and canoeing, or rafting, I should say. There's to Sean's point, Uptown has a ton of stuff. There's a lot of museums uptown, which are really, really cool. And then everything is kind of based off this. It kind of comes off this light rail, which he mentioned. It runs north to south and can get you all the way from UNC Charlotte, which is way north of the city, all the way down to Pineville, and into the neighborhoods that surround it. So it's a pretty cool city that you can explore in a couple days.
Yeah. Is that training center is that part of the Nantahala, or is that something different?
No, it's off of the Catawba River. So Nantahala is like west. It's like the mountains area.
Okay, yeah. Like I know I was somewhere. Nantahala is somewhere in North Carolina. I can't remember because I went when I was in high school.
Yeah. And then the food scene in Charlotte's awesome too. So if you just want to come in and just kind of like kick around and eat a lot of stuff, to the north of us in Davidson, the Kindreds have Kindred and Hello Sailor, which has been nationally recognized by Bon Appetit. Greg Collier just opened up Leah and Louise, and he's a James Beard semifinalist this year. Paul Verica and Bruce Moffat have their restaurants here, and they're both past James Beard semifinalists. So there's a lot of and there's a couple of food halls that have just opened up. So everything, like I said before, from low end to high end, and a little bit in between, we've got it, and we all have a bit of a chip on our shoulder that we're as underrepresented nationally as we could be.
Oh, gotcha. All right, well, you guys are helping make that be a change. That's cool. All right, so someone that's starting a restaurant, what wisdom would you impart besides avoid pandemic food scheduling?
Don't open 6 weeks before a pandemic. Yeah.
I mean, I think that the being able to persevere, not pandemic aside, just like the amount of hours that you have to put in, the amount of work that goes into it, the amount of sleepless nights, the amount of 7-day work weeks. It takes a lot of hard work. Like I'm not going to be one of those people that sits here and tells you don't do it. Like same way people told me my entire life. Because it's very satisfying. It's unbelievably satisfying when you see the hard work pay off. But there's a lot of hard work involved. That's the one wisdom I would give someone is don't think that you're going to open a restaurant and just skate by. You got to be willing to put in long hours and work your butt off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say being, it's this walking this tightrope of being patient while also being, nimble and creative enough to pivot quickly and change. Because this is a business that takes some time to recoup in. It costs a lot of money to open a restaurant, and you don't get it back immediately. But you also can't kind of sit around and rest on your laurels and wait for success to come. You have to be creative and nimble and grab it. So it's having that knowledge that it's going to take a while to get to where you want to be, financially and then just success wise, but also not waiting for that to come, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. That's good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So moving on, what is something that if you could change anything, what would it be in the restaurant industry?
So I think, we've been very upfront with our staff that we want to create a restaurant that's different from kind of the old school model of restaurants where, chef is God and, you can scream and you can holler and, treat people like dirt. That's not who Sean or I are, or Andrew, our other partner. We want there to be a significant emphasis on work-life balance. We want there to be a significant emphasis on fun while you're at work. And we have a motto that is run fast to help the guests, but run faster to help each other. And what we mean by that is that if we take care of our crew and take care of each other, then it'll naturally trickle down and take care of the guest. And I think that is a change that is happening in a lot of restaurants. I think a lot of people are shedding this old school mentality of that I just mentioned, and they are recognizing that we have to take care of our associates, we have to take care of our employees, and we can't just squeeze the life out of them. So I feel like we're on track to make that change.
Yeah, I fully agree with what, I think that's why Chris and I work so well together and why our partnership with AJ has gone so well is because we have a lot of those similar cultural views on, one of the things that I've always said to myself is I want the restaurant industry to no longer be that job where you have the job, you go tell your parents I'm a manager at a restaurant, they look at you and tell you, when are you going to get a real job? That's one of the things that I wanted to eliminate from the restaurant industry my entire life. So, I think that along with also, I came up with BLT steak, a lot of French restaurants, a lot of French kitchens. And yeah, people deserve to be treated with respect and they deserve to should treat each other with respect as well. And I think that the one thing I learned along my path has been that you can't really start to affect change until you're kind of the person at the top. So I think that's what made us want to start our own restaurant was, we're finally in a position where, the culture of the restaurant is going to be a direct representation of us as opposed to trying to fight something above us.
That's great. You got to unmute before you talk, guys. There's a little tip there for live streaming.
Sorry.
That was me. All right. I do want to say that we have some people chiming in. Jane Newton says, I like this. She actually said it twice, so it's double likes. And then we also have Jason Baker saying he misses GYH. Can't wait. Can't wait to eat the man.
Well, Jason.
That might have been my time, but hey, kind of good stuff.
Might make you blush there, Chris.
Very cool. All right. Something that you love most about being a restaurateur?
I love everything about it. I mean, it's, to kind of echo what we just talked about, it's hard work, but it gives you an adrenaline and it gives you some excitement. The rush of a kitchen on a busy service, is like playing sports or, driving a fast car or, creating something beautiful if you're an artist. So, I think, but number one, the thing that I miss most is probably my work family. And the thing that I love the most is my work family, the sous chefs in the kitchen, the managers that Sean has, all of our runners and bussers and servers and line cooks. These are the people that you kind of stand by day in and day out, and that it's just kind of special, the things that you create together. So that's kind of what I love, and honestly what I'm missing right now during this COVID pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think these bonds you create with each other are probably like no other industry out there. The satisfaction that you get from a guest, being that important piece of an important part of someone's life, whether it's a birthday dinner or it's a anniversary or it's I just quit my job, I want to get drunk, like just being an impactful part of that. And then watching our people grow and watching our people develop, like that's probably the most satisfying aspect of it for me, is just, watching people, teaching people, watching them make mistakes, watching them mess up, and just watching them get better day in and day out. And that's something that I think Chris and I both very strongly feel, is that we like to teach and we like to coach people, and watching them develop is probably one of the coolest things for me.
Yeah,
it's awesome. All right, tell us about Goodyear Giving. What's that all about?
Yeah. So,
go ahead, Chris.
Well, no, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, there's not a ton to say about it. It's a 501c3 that we set up prior to opening, because giving back to the community locally and giving back internationally is something that's very important to both Chris, AJ, and I. And one thing that when we talked to some other restaurateurs who've been doing this for a while, they said, you get so many people that ask you for a $50 gift card here or a $25 gift card here, and it doesn't really go a long way toward making a really big impact. So we wanted to set up a 501c3 because giving back is so important to us, but also so we could really focus our efforts onto causes that are really important to the three of us, and are important to the Charlotte community, and we could actually make a change as opposed to a $25 gift card for a silent raffle.
Yeah. So, everything that Sean just said is spot on. It's, restaurateurs get asked for a lot, and it's hard to feel like you are making a difference. So, part of Goodyear Giving is we're going to select one local charity and one international charity per year to funnel all of our charitable giving towards. So that's whether that's direct cash, whether that's fundraising events, you name it. That way we can step back at the end of the year and say, we really helped charity X and charity Y this year. Giving back and being a part of our community is so important to us, because the community has given so much to all three of us, and to our families, that we kind of feel like we need to make as much of a difference as we can for our community here, whether that is, employing local people, buying, local food from local farmers and our friends, and then, finding a way to kind of plug in and give back. So one community that we, or one charity that we have really worked with closely in the first, 6 to 8 weeks or so of being a restaurant, is the Charlotte Rescue Mission. They work directly with men and women in our community who need a second chance, who are addicts, and it's kind of ruined their lives. So they take them in, help them get cleaned up, and then teach them life skills on how to interview for a job, land a job, keep a job when troubles come, and we just cooked their Easter lunch for all of their 300 residents this past weekend. It's something that I really believe in, and we're excited to help them out and be a part of them.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love to hear that. Giving, as it said, it's better to give than receive, and that's part of the reason we're doing this type of thing right now. We're trying to give back to the restaurant industry when they're having a little bit of a difficult time. So love to hear what you guys are doing there. I had a couple other people chime in, so we always want to recognize our fans. And Karen says she cannot wait to eat, not the chef, but Goodyear House, which is good news. And then we also have Chris chiming in and saying it's great to hear from you guys, and he's going to be waiting at the front. He might be there right now.
He probably is. Thanks, Chris.
Very cool. Like I said earlier, we want to make sure everybody is tuning into your Instagram account and your other accounts that you have. So you can see that scroll on the bottom. Also, don't forget about Dine Digital. Follow us too. We're just getting ramped up, and we happened to jump into this project right before everybody shut down, so it was impeccable timing.
Nice.
But more importantly, please go support Goodyear House. And right now, I guess a good way to do that is just to follow them and see when the next thing is going to be happening for you guys. I also wanted to go ahead and show that again. So there's their Instagram. Get a good look at what's going on there. And looks like you had your mask on.
Yeah.
Good work.
That was preparing that lunch this past weekend.
Yeah, very good. So please go check that out. Any parting words that you guys would like to share as we kind of wrap up our time together?
Yeah, just stay strong and just do whatever they're telling you. Hopefully we'll be out of this soon enough. And won't have any issues.
Yeah, thanks, Mark, for having us on today. It's huge. We appreciate it. And yeah, to echo Sean, just hunker down and do exactly what the officials are telling you to do, and that way we can finish this all up and get back to business.
Excellent. Yeah, and we got a couple more fans. Suzanne loves you guys, and then Cameron.
Yeah, she's definitely ready for me to go back to work.
She says y'all are great. So all right, very good, guys. It was wonderful having you on the dish. And for everyone else, please stay tuned as we continue to talk to great restaurants and great people. And y'all be safe and have a great day. We'll see y'all later.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.